Do you want to figure out why men keep running back to you after you start ignoring them? Well, it happens a lot, and not many women know why that is the case. So, in this video, I'm going to be telling you in detail why this happens so that you are not left wondering anymore. Hi ladies, my name is Bereisaite. I am one of Greta's high value women coaches, and in this video I'm going to be naming 3 reasons why he runs back to you after you ignore him. But before we get into this juicy video, make sure that you take the self-awareness test to find out if you're a woman of high value or if you're a woman of low value. And you can find that test in the description section below. Also, guys, I'm wearing one of Greta's hoodies. As you can see, Chase Goals, Not Drama in white. I absolutely love it. She has a bunch of hoodies and t-shirts, and you can find all of the details in the description section below. There are a bunch of really nice colors, and the quality is lovely, and it's so soft. Make sure you go check that out. Without further ado, let's jump into reason number 1 on why men run back after you start ignoring them. So the fact of the matter is that when things are scarce, you want it more, way more. When something is not there anymore, you start noticing the value of it more and you start wanting it more. You actually start realizing what you had and you basically want to have it back in your life. This doesn't only apply to things, it applies to people as well, just like women, but also definitely for men. People, especially men, start missing a relationship and they, in many cases, want to go back to it. This is one of the reasons why exes come back and want to give it another shot. As I said, when something is scarce, when something is missing, when something is not there anymore, especially when you're used to it, you start missing it and the value of it starts to raise. Men start missing the relationship in a way and all the good feelings it brought with it. This is one of the main reasons why men run back after you start ignoring them. They start missing your attention, they start missing your qualities, your personality, and they want to have it in their presence again and they want it back again. Men start missing what they don't have anymore, especially if it was more or less good. Okay, a lot of the time they might be reminded of how good the relationship was, and so even if it did have bad parts to it, if it was more or less overall good, they will be reminded of the good things in the relationship and they will start missing it and wanting it back again. They might also start seeing it as a challenge to get the relationship back on track and really just start over in a way. You know, it's a challenge for them and they might see it as a challenge, and that is a reason why they would want to give it another shot. This, however, does not mean that you should take them back. That's a whole different aspect. But in most cases, from what I have heard and from what I do know, it is extremely common for guys to reach out from the past or exes in a way to come back or to check in. And this happens very, very often. And it's basically because they are reminded of the good stuff or the interesting stuff that you had, and their relationship right now might not be fulfilling them, or they might not even be in a relationship. So they would reach out because they don't have you anymore. You're gone, you're scarce, you know, they start missing you in a way. And again, they see it as a challenge to get you back, right? It's the same not just with men and women, it's the same with things. When something is hard to get, for example, it's scarce because it costs a lot of money, the value of it is automatically higher than something that you can get your hands on quickly. And it's that scarcity mentality that drives a lot of this, right? And this is the way people work. When you can't have something and when it is not there, the value of it rises, and your quest to getting it may become stronger or even getting it back. And this only happens when there is a distance. This only happens when the woman might ignore the man. You know, there's a distance between both of between the man and the woman, and so the scarcity is very, very present, and it gets him thinking, and that's why he runs back. So that was reason number one. Let's get into reason number two. So I think reason number two is a super interesting reason. And that is, for example, if you have been acting low value. For example, you have been canceling your plans to be with him, spending a lot of time with him, making him your number one priority, being there whenever he needs you, and acting needy or jealous or just basically really low value. If that is the case, then the relationship would not be working out long term, and you guys would break up. And this is because you pursued him and because you put him on the pedestal and he seemed like the most important thing in your life. And when that is the case, the respect, right, and the value of a woman shrinks in a man's eyes. And let's say you broke up and you acted low value, and you ignored him, right? You ignored him and he reached out to you. And he in a way wants to run back to you, right? It can mean that he didn't expect you to ignore him for that long. And for that reason, he might start missing you. But again, it can also mean that he wants to test you and basically see if he can snap his fingers and you will run right back to him, right? So if that's the case, then it's basically an ego game on his part. It will boost his ego to snap his fingers, and a woman will start pursuing him again, acting low value again, and running back to him then, so it's an ego game a lot of the time, just to see if the woman will jump whenever he runs back to her after there has been ignoring or distancing going on. When this is the case and you acted low value, you broke up, and now you're ignoring him and he reached out, there are two things that you can do. You can either continue ignoring him and move on, or you can start acting high value and take it from there. But in many cases, if a woman even acted low value, right, and ignored him and tried to move on and he reaches out, it can, as I said, really be an ego test for him to boost his ego, or he misses you just a little bit in some way, shape, or form and wants to see if you can get him back. But it is a lot of the time really an ego game. If you've come this far but haven't subscribed yet, make sure you do that right now by clicking the subscribe button below, and also click the bell button to be notified whenever Greta uploads a brand new video. So now let's get into reason number 3 on why he runs back to you after you ignore him. So I personally see it this way. There is a healthy side to this, and there is the unhealthy side to this. So let's get to the healthy part first. And the truth is, men tend to pull away, even if you act at high value, just because they need some time to think, they need some time for themselves. And a reason for this can simply be that they want to do manly stuff. They, yeah, just want to basically spend some time with their friends or by themselves. And this can be things like even like playing PlayStation or going out with their guy friends or I don't know, just doing like manly stuff and pulling away a little bit. When you give him that space and when you let him be and do his stuff and not act needy or jealous, he will be surprised, because that's not a reaction that most women would give, and he will be very grateful for it. He wants his space. You're not nagging him, you're giving him that freedom to breathe, right? That is really, really good. And when you do that, he will naturally want to be with you again. He will run back to you. He will want to spend more time with you. He will start missing you. So when he needs time for himself, you give him that time by doing your own stuff and letting him be and do his own stuff. He starts missing you, and he runs back to you, right? That is perfectly healthy. There's nothing wrong with that. Everyone does need their space sometime. The unhealthy side of this whole scenario is, for example, when you guys break up, you ignore him, he reaches out, you start dating again, something happens, you break up, you ignore him, he reaches out, you start dating again. When that cycle continues more, like 2 times, 3 times, it's a cycle. It's a toxic and very negative cycle to be in. It's very unhealthy and it's very draining, and it becomes more of a game than an actual healthy relationship. This can also show that the guy is actually interested more in the hot and cold extremes than in the actual relationship. So these men actually do exist, and it is very unhealthy. And if you find yourself in that type of relationship, then start acting really high value and reconsider if this is something that you want to continuously be involved in, because it takes a lot of time and energy to exit a vicious cycle, of being together, breaking up, ignoring him running after you, being together again. This hot and cold type of relationship, it does exist. It definitely comes from both parts, right? But if you find yourself in that, you can definitely stop it by being high value and learning how to be high value. Maybe then the relationship will improve, or you will actually say, no, I think I'm better than this, and you move on. But either way, acting high value for you and learning the high value traits is definitely the number one step in getting out of that type of situation. Reason number 4 on why he runs back to you after you start ignoring him is that he regrets breaking up. A firm reason of why a guy would come back after you start ignoring him is that he literally regrets not being together anymore. After a breakup, women tend to really feel pain straight afterwards. And I do believe that it only hits men a little bit later, right? That's why sometimes it takes a little bit of time for them to actually realize what has happened. If you have been acting high value and you guys break up and you ignore him and he runs back to you, and if you really were acting high value and he runs back, then definitely because he regrets breaking up. He may see what he has lost and the realization of losing you hits him, and it becomes really hard for him. If this does happen, if you did act high value, you broke up, you ignored him, now he's running back, the ball is in your field. I think that's how you put it, how you describe it. It's in your hands, right? You make the decision of if you want to move on or if you do want to give him a second chance, right? So it's literally in your hands. So decide wisely if you want to get back together and be high value when you do it. If you do get back together, make sure that you are high value. A great scenario for this is, for example, the girl is being high value and the relationship is going fine, and then you have an argument and it kind of gets heated and you break up, and then you ignore him and he runs back to you because he realizes that the relationship was really good, but you just had like a heated argument and you broke up. And so, again, you have two choices. You can take him back and continue acting high value, or you move on depending on how hurt you were and how much your trust has been broken. But this is a fundamental reason on why guys run back after you've ignored them, especially if you are high value. This can seem like a lot at times when it comes to learning how to be high value, and it is very important and it is very life-changing in general, and especially for your relationships. So if you want to learn how to be high value, there is a free Facebook group that you can join. It is called Greta's High Value Women School. And there is a bunch of women in there learning how to be high value and how to bring out the best in their men. Make sure that you join. The link to the school is in the description section below. And if you want to know how to stay attractive via text, what games men actually do play on women, and how to have emotional control, how to get your ex back, or how to love yourself. Or perhaps you have a hobby that you want to turn into an online business. And if that's the case, then make sure to check out Greta's website in the description section below. She has all of these videos and more up for sale there. And if you would want to book me for one-on-one coaching or anyone else from Greta's team, then make sure you do that on gretabereisaite.com. You can also find the link in the description section below. Also, make sure to check out Greta's Instagram. It's Ladies Relationship Coach. Give her a follow. She posts amazing content on there. I'm sure you will love it. Thank you so much for watching the video. Make sure you give me a thumbs up and comment below what reason you liked the most. And I cannot wait to see you next time. Bye!